Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another edition of Review of Honor, where we cover everything that happens inside of a Ring of Honor ring. Guys, we have a lot to talk about. This is almost a special episode of Review of Honor. Well, no, it is a special episode of Review of Honor because not only are we covering a regular Ring of Honor episode, we are also covering Final Battle 2020. We had a large number of matches, a lot of interesting things that happened on the pay-per-view, and just plenty of great action to talk about. So, of course, guys, I can't do this alone. You know, we gotta have tag team partners whenever we're talking about wrestling, whenever we're dealing with wrestling. And as always, my tag team partner is the three-time Baby Making Champ who loves Bacardi Coquito. It is none other than this is Ness. Ness, tell the people how you are doing, sir.
Oh, I'm doing great, man. You just made me like, when you said that, I'm like, man, what if I came out like Stone Cold, with the bottles of cocaine? Well, I don't know if I can do that. They might break. But, yeah, I'm doing good, man. This definitely, we got a lot to cover here, but it's definitely going to be a fun episode and to follow a interesting pay-per-view. And man, yeah, we got a lot of interesting things to talk about.
So, guys, we're going to get straight to it. But before we do, remember to hit that like button, comment, share, subscribe. We love to hear from all of our fellow true heels. We love to hear from all of you as we talk about this wonderful, wacky world that we call wrestling. And it's definitely wacky when you're discussing a promotion that has PCO and Delirious in it. So let's get straight to it, guys. We have an episode of Ring of Honor television. We're actually going to kind of move quickly over this because there are two matches, as always, two standard matches that ROH has, and it's Mark Briscoe and PCO versus the Bouncers, and it's Flip Gordon versus Josh Woods. And if you know the pay-per-view card, you kind of have an idea of who is winning these matches. These are just basic tune-up matches to get these guys a little bit more shake any ring rust that might be there, especially for somebody like Flip Gordon. Yeah. But Mark Briscoe and PCO pick up the win over the Bouncers, and Flip Gordon picks up a win over Josh Woods. So, guys, with that said, let's jump straight into the pay-per-view itself. The pay-per-view started off with a pre-show, had 1 hour pre-show. We had Tony Deppen picking up the win over Dak Draper, Josh Woods, and LSG. This was a 4-corner survival match to determine who would face TV title champion or ROH television champion Dragon Lee later in the show. And after 11 minutes and 42 seconds, Deppen picked up the win here. I thought this was a pretty good match. I liked that they kind of went with Deppen as the guy. Deppen kind of seems as though somebody who, while he has a lot of experience, seems inexperienced at the same time. And I don't know if that's intentional with the character, because I mean they said he's been wrestling since I think 2010. So a guy who's had that many years of experience just in the ring, you think wouldn't be coming across as inexperienced. But in that sense, it has a nice kind of almost feel-good way to have this pre-show open up. Ness, what did you think about the match?
Yeah, the match definitely was fun and definitely great for an opener. And just to piggyback off the statement about Deppen seeming a little, I get that feeling as well that although he does have the experience, it might be just because like the other guys that were in the match have slight more name value, Josh Woods, LSG, going the distance with Jay Lethal, and Dak Draper being a top prospect. So these guys definitely had the eyes on them already, with Tony Deppen maybe not getting as much publicity and much notoriety as the rest of them. So going into this, I actually believe that it was a good idea and a good decision that they placed him in this position to come out with the win. I was probably looking forward to Josh Woods, because I feel as though he should have been on the main card, but it's all right. The match, like I said, the match was decent. And as we actually get into the rest of the show, we'll talk about, Tony Deppen versus Dragon Lee later. But, guy definitely showed up, and I got to give him his props.
Josh Woods will definitely get his due sooner rather than later. I think that's something that Ring of Honor is waiting to pull the trigger on. But here we see Deppen picking up the win. After this, our second match of the pre-show was Rhett Titus and Hot Sauce Tracy Williams of the Foundation picking up a win after 13 minutes and 51 seconds over Fred Yehai and Wheeler Utah. This was a tag team match, but what was interesting about it is that it took place under pure wrestling rules. And we had talked about this back when we were a couple weeks ago when we were talking about just everything that was going to happen with Final Battle. What would a pure tag team wrestling match look like? Well, this is what it looks like. And it's kind of interesting considering that, as we find out, the Foundation, the other two Foundation members who are our tag team champions, they are interested in pursuing all of their future matches, assuming Mark Briscoe and PCO don't win. They say that they want all of their future tag title matches to be under pure rules. So this gives us a kind of a glimpse of what could be. The match I thought was pretty interesting. I like the fact that Rhett and Tracy win because it's kind of a situation where, again, the Foundation, not supposed to be heels, but they kind of come across as heels in that sense. And to me, it was like, the heel picked the stipulation, so the heel should have an advantage. And they're not heels, but it is a match type that works well for their wheelhouse. And so them picking up the win makes complete and total sense to me, and it reinforces that notion that Foundation is superior than the other people on the roster. Ness, what did you think about this one?
This was a great match, in my opinion. I was already interested in seeing, like we talked about before, how the pure rules would work under, a tag team setting. Both teams only had the 3 rope breaks, so they got to share that, and it, like, eventually, if, as the this continues and then we see more matches like that, that might come to a point where tag team members end up, going head to head at a point because, one person's either using too many of them or, the guy uses it and his tag team partner probably thinks that he could have held out a little bit longer. So that creates good storylines and we can see where that goes. But I also enjoyed the fact that, like, they pretty much just made it be not so much of a cluster for tag team matches. We see them in all types of promotions where, like, sometimes the tag team matches get a little bit out of hand, but under this stipulation, like, there's order and, like, they have to follow the rules and have to follow the format of the pure champion or the pure style. So I really enjoyed it. All these guys in this match are great athletes. Rhett Titus is stepping it up. I really, as long as I've been watching Rhett Titus, I really didn't really have that much of a care for him. But
that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, but
that's part of the story, right? That's part of the
that's really where it's coming from. It's like, all right, I'm getting a little bit more interested with him in the Foundation because he knows that people have been, like, pretty much looking over him. I just admitted to that. So he's just stepping it up. Hot Sauce Tracy Williams, definitely one of the epitome guys for this style of wrestling, the pure style. And Fred Yehai, Wheeler Utah, we've seen them go at it in the pure tournament. So, these guys can step it up. So, at the end of the day, this definitely was a great match to see. And I definitely want to see more matches, more tag team matches under the pure format and see, like, other teams people that might not even be that great under the pure format to see if we could see them test their skills at it and, like, see where that goes. That definitely will be something interesting.
Yeah, I agree with you. And the pure having a tag match under pure rules, just somewhere FTR's ears are burning.
Yeah. They're like, they're like, you gotta have the tag rope. You gotta
they're like, can we at least hold on to the tag ropes? And in Ring of Honor, they're like, no, you only get 3 rope breaks. The judges can rule this match if it goes to decision. No closed fists. Like, FTR's like, oh man, like, why can't we do that?
Yeah.
Guys, we are now into the actual pay-per-view. We are out of the pre-show. We are in the pay-per-view. And speaking of tag titles, speaking of tag teams, speaking of pure wrestling, we start off this pay-per-view really hot with the Foundation taking on PCO and Mark Briscoe. Unlikely tag team partners as they are, they take the tag champions, one could say, to the limit within this 12 minutes and 40-second match. But unfortunately, they are not enough to overcome the Foundation, the Rock of ROH, that is Jonathan Gresham and Jay Lethal, and our champions retain. This match, I really, really enjoyed this match as an opener to the pay-per-view itself. I thought that they had some really great spots. I loved the Mark Briscoe putting the chair and then using that to jump out to the outside. PCO continuing to risk life, limb, and vertebrae to try to hurt people is just always warms my heart, especially when he attempts to do just a diving front flip, I guess, and onto somebody who's on the apron. They get off and he hits back first on the apron like an idiot. Like that is parts of that I'm just, wow, all right, cool. That's we're going all out in that sense. Yeah. So I enjoyed this match. I thought it had some really great aspects to it. We'll start the star ratings here. I gave this one maybe, I'd say like 2.5 to 3 stars for what it was supposed to be, and the fact that just Briscoe and PCO, despite the fact that they are not normal tag partners, they looked very comfortable in the ring together as a team. Ness, what were your thoughts?
I just rated 3 stars as well. That's what I was here for. I definitely wanted to see how PCO and Mark Briscoe would fare against Lethal and Gresham. These guys were there for a fight. Like, that's it. They wanted to fight. Lethal and Gresham wanted to wrestle. And we talked about this before, how the craziness of Mark Briscoe and PCO would match up with the strategic, thought out, methodical ways of the Foundation. So to see those two mash up, the mesh of styles, it was just like hilarious, because we already knew it was going to be like something crazy going on with Mark Briscoe, PCO. Also, like how PCO is just like, oh, I'm going to break your arm, to Jay Lethal, going back to when he broke his arm and he was out for a couple weeks. So that just made him, made the Foundation want to just get this win that much more. And like you said, like just the spots were crazy, and then just the tag team, the in-syncness of Mark Briscoe and PCO, because they're not usually they're not a team at all. Like, this is their second time teaming, and they're going for the tag titles. So you would think that people that are facing, the tag team champions would have a little bit more experience with each other, and they didn't. But they looked like they had years of experience with each other. But at the end of the day, the team that does have the experience, and the champions retain. So all in all, like we figured that it was going to come down to that, but it was a very good match, very entertaining, definitely a great opener to get the show started, which that just set the tone for the rest of the night.
Do you have a star rating for this one?
Yeah, I give it 3 stars.
3 stars. All right, cool. So, guys, now we talked about how there were some problems with what the intended card was when it came to Bandito, Flamita, Ray Horace defending the 6-man tag matches with EC3 and Jay Briscoe, and with Kenny King not being there. So they have to, book on the fly. And they changed some of the matches around, but one thing that is always kind of interesting is when matches happen or are announced as the pay-per-view is going on. Yeah. And that's exactly what happens next when we suddenly get something we didn't know we needed, and that's Ray Horace taking on Dalton Castle. This is a really good match. I like this one. 9 minutes and 10 seconds. What I liked about this match was that it kind of continued a story for Dalton Castle, but it started a story for Ray Horace. The kind of story to me for Ray Horace was, you never know what you're going to get, so you have to make the most of every single opportunity. And here he's presented with the opportunity of facing a former world champion, somebody who went 9-1 in world championship matches with a broken back, somebody who is a stalwart of Ring of Honor and probably has had the opportunity to leave, but has not. And for Dalton Castle, it's a story of, I didn't make it out of the first round of the Pure Title tournament. I haven't been doing that well. Can I show people resilience and the resilience of being able to say, I didn't know I was going to get this match. Let me see what I can do. Because he was on commentary and he's, was like, let's figure something out. And he's saying, I gotta show and prove. Like, he's seeing the pressure that's being put on him. And I like that over this, just like not a long match, 9 minutes long, but I like the two stories of perseverance, resilience, and who is going to be able to gut out a win in that sense without knowing that they were going to have this match. And after 9 minutes, Ray Horace puts away a former world champion. I gave this one about 2.25 stars. I love the story of this one, though. Ness, what did you think?
Yeah, I gave this match 2.5. It was a decent match. I don't know if maybe just me personally, I was waiting for it to like hit another gear. Like they would, it would like turn up, and then it was just like kind of stand still, and then turn up again and staying still. But overall, I definitely agree with that, with the story of Dalton Castle, because he's just like, wait a minute, Ray Horace is here. He's like, well, so what the hell am I doing on commentary? Like, I could have a match. And I'm not even gonna lie. After the match, I was hoping that he came back on commentary after the loss. Like, not to rub insult the injury, but that just would have been hilarious if he would have came back after the loss. But
Cole used to do that when he was in Ring. Yeah, he would come back.
Just come back on commentary. But yeah, man, like it was. I'm glad that Ray Horace picked up the victory, because he was supposed to have a match, a title, a 6-man title match, and that was definitely one of the matches I was looking forward to. So yeah, man, I'm happy for him that he went out and got the win. But like, again, like, it's unfortunate that the original match that was planned didn't go through. But kudos to both these guys. Like we said, 2020 sucked completely. It was just an unfortunate incident with Flamita and Bandito not passing the COVID protocol. So it was a good idea and a great gesture on ROH management's part to still use Ray Horace and to utilize a former world champion in Dalton Castle to add to the pay-per-view, after the original plans had to be scrapped. So that was great for them to thinking on the fly, and kudos to both men for putting on a good performance.
Yeah. After this, guys, we have a match that we knew we were going to get, a grudge match, a match that the story looked really bad in the beginning, but as they told it, it got a lot better. And the match itself was pretty good. I gotta say, it was pretty good. I was expecting a little bit more brawling, and I feel as though it didn't have that. But overall, it was a pretty good match. Of course, we were talking about the OGK, the OG Kingdom versus the Righteous, Vincent and Bateman. And this was our first kind of longer match on the card. It goes just over 16 minutes long, but OGK is able to pick up the win. Matt Taven and Mike Bennett are able to exorcise the demon that is Vincent. Or, well, at least they think so.
Yeah.
Because they forgot that Vita is with the Righteous, and Vita does a little bit of the old hit him below the breadbasket and attacks Taven and Bennett after the match, and then they zip tie Taven to the ropes, and he is forced to watch as Vincent puts a block of wood between Bennett's legs and wallops him, tries to shatter those ankles. And it was parts of the body that they had worked on during the match itself with Mike Bennett. So it added even more to the story that at one point you saw Bennett and them all on the outside, and they had just done a top rope move, and Bennett's like trying to limp away because he is hurt. And they see that, they target that, and then later they shatter the ankle. I liked the match. I liked the post-match even better, but then weirdly it let me down because what I was expecting was Maria to run out there with a chair or something like that to even the odds, to try to do something. Like, I'm assuming she's there backstage. I would hope so. She's traveling with her husband for this point. She sees her husband, Mike Bennett, getting attacked, does nothing. Maybe she wasn't there. Maybe that's the case. But I really, I thought, part of me was just waiting for that. Like, when they came out, when the Righteous came out with Vita, the back of my mind, the first thing I thought of was, Maria needs to be involved now. Yeah. And then so when she wasn't, I was like, oh, and that kind of pulled it down a little bit for me. That kind of pulled it down. All the same, I gave the match and the segment overall, I'd say about 2 3/4 stars. And that's, what were your thoughts?
Yeah, definitely 2 3/4 stars. That's a great rating for it. The match itself was very, very good. I was, like you said, I was expecting them to do maybe a little bit more. Since it was a grudge match, I was expecting a little bit more carnage, so to speak. Probably more weapons, more.
I thought somebody was leaving this match leaking. That's what I thought was going to happen.
That's what I like. As much as that's been going on over the past couple of weeks between the two teams, and everything that's the backstory, how personal it is, and I just expected it to be a little bit more of a blood feud blow off to an extent. The match was still good. There was my favorite spot, or one of my favorite spots from this match, was when Bennett is holding Vincent on the apron while outside of the ring he has him draped off the apron, and then Matt Taven hits the Aurora Borealis outside. I'm like, shit, I know that hurt. I know that hurt. But and then like you said, even the post match with I also was expecting Maria to come out. It never happened, so I was like, well, shit, you don't want to come out and help your man and his best. Okay, hey. And then the next thing they do is they just announce that she's back. So yeah. So oh, come on, man, that was definitely a missed opportunity. But I won't hold that against them, because the match itself and then the post-match antics definitely made for this feud. I'm kind of even though it was Final Battle, and that's usually where things come to a head, I'm kind of glad that it's not going to end there. It's probably going to wait a couple weeks. They just shattered Mike Bennett's ankle, so he's definitely going to be out, or he's definitely going to take some time off for the next couple weeks. And then, Matt Taven, he's just going to get fired up. He had to sit there and watch his friend, who just came back to the company, have to go back out, through all this. So it's just more storytelling, more things to get you invested. So I definitely want to see where it goes from here. And then hopefully the next match will be some type of street fight, some type of parking lot brawl, cage match, whatever the case may be. But something, it needs to be a stipulation, a real grudge match, real big fight feel to this story.
I think you're 100% on point, and a street match allows them to kind of get around COVID restrictions in some sense, because a street match, as long as they have a street or an area where there a parking lot or whatever the case may be, that can be filmed anywhere. That can be done anywhere. You don't necessarily need to have a place booked for that, and it allows you to keep certain talent away from other people. That was something that Impact did very well when it came to the Wrestle House stuff. That's also something that AEW did very well by having Best Friends and LAX have a parking lot brawl, so that they were able to just keep more people in different areas. You're just moving people around. You're spicing things up. You're changing it up. And this is going to be a match that definitely needs to be spiced up with some kind of stipulation. Yeah. Speaking of matches with stipulations, ladies and gentlemen, next we have something that is a little bit on the zany side. Here we have And Zany's putting it lightly, I guess.
Yeah.
We have Danhausen taking on Brian Johnson. And the stipulation is if Danhausen wins, he gets an ROH contract. Now, this was a really interesting match. There's no two ways around it. No. Brian Johnson played his role perfectly as the guy completely pissed off that he has busted his ass for years and years and years and worked to get everything he has and still feels as though he is disrespected or overlooked. And he is pissed as hell that this kid with face paint that looks like Kid Dracula, I guess, is
that's a great way to put it too. Yeah,
is going to be able to get an ROH contract. Well, he says, not on my watch. I'm going out there. But then, of course, Brian Johnson suffers from a character flaw of always having to tell people how angry he is and also how good he thinks he is. So he gets on the microphone and continues to try to talk to the people while this match is going on. Then Danhausen very wisely, very smartly does the old Eddie Guerrero trick of making the ref think that your opponent cheated when they didn't actually cheat. He takes the microphone, rubs it on his forehead so that some of the face paint comes off and is transferred to the microphone, tosses the mic back to Brian Johnson, and then just does the laydown job. But instead of losing, instead of jobbing, he actually wins because Brian Johnson is disqualified. The ref thinks that Brian Johnson cheated. And what does this mean? Well, the stipulation only said that Danhausen had to win. It didn't say he had to win by pinfall or submission. It just said win. And a DQ win, well, that's a win in the record books, ladies and gentlemen. So, going forward, we will have the pleasure of, from time to time, talking to you guys about Danhausen matches. I am sure that Ness is looking forward to it, and I am sure that Ness is looking forward to the potential 6-man tag team champions of Danhausen, PCO, and Mark Briscoe. But before we get that fever dream, Ness has got to tell you what he thought about this match. So Ness, take it away.
Yeah, that's something I never. Oh my goodness, what if that happens? Oh well, let me get my thoughts together. This match was definitely interesting. Oh man, what can I say about Danhausen? This guy is fucking. He's hilarious. I've never heard of him. Well, I've seen him, but I really didn't know who he was or anything about him prior to this pay-per-view. Guys, he's something. He is quite the character, and he's definitely entertaining. I can give him that. And he can go in the ring too, so that's definitely a plus. I definitely want to give props to Brian Johnson. I feel as though his in-ring work isn't, that stellar, but man, when he was on that mic and he was just berating everybody at home, everybody in the building, Danhausen, Caprice Coleman, Ian Riccaboni, he was just going off. And I'm like, yo, this guy can talk his ass off. If his in-ring ability can match how great and how pissed off he is as a character, he has a bright future. And he pretty much dominated this match up until, the point where he got disqualified, which, again, that plays up to Danhausen's. He's like, look, I can wrestle. This guy's just here to fight me. How can I get out of this situation? Oh, let me do this. Like you said, he pulled Eddie Guerrero, and he got the DQ win. So that was definitely a smart man, and a smart move, because Danhausen's here. He's evil, and he wants to make a whole lot of money. So, hey, nothing wrong with that. He's good. He's good evil. But
I know that this was taped, but just Brian Johnson had incredible timing to be able to say, like, "Shut up, Caprice, I'm talking," as Caprice is saying something, and just knowing that. And I guess maybe he could see it out of the corner of his eye, but still, just the wherewithal or of knowing where you are to be able to just see that and say it while still looking at the camera, really great work. But But guys, this was a kind of a palate cleanser, if you will, kind of a little bit of a break, because before this we had some serious matches. Now we have this little bit of a break, and now we're getting into the heavier stuff of the show. And what kicks us off with this kind of back half of Final Battle? Well, it's Dragon Lee putting on the TV title defense against Tony Deppen, who won that pre-show match. And Tony Deppen, we said it earlier when we were talking about the pre-show match, he kind of comes across as inexperienced. And it's kind of weird because we know he has that experience. And this was a match where he was able to show that experience and show that even though he may come across as a guy who is inexperienced, he can find ways to really take the fight to his opponent. And it was interesting also because at the same time, Dragon Lee kind of never felt like he was in danger. Never really felt like he was. So I don't know how, like, in a way, like, incredible props to Tony Deppen, because it was kind of a match, like, you look at it and you're like, they're not really going to put the TV title on Deppen, right? No. So it's like, how does Deppen make me think that Dragon Lee can lose this match? That's really the onus that's on Deppen to try to find a way to do that. And I think he did a pretty good job. So this match I kind of gave, I thought about it for a while. This one, just because I was like, Dragon Lee just didn't seem like he was ever really in danger to me, despite Deppen doing his best. I gave this one like maybe 2.25. I think that would be my rating. Ness, what did you think about seeing Dragon Lee for the first time in a Ring of Honor ring after months and months off?
Oh man, Dragon Lee is one of my favorite wrestlers. Period. Currently, I wouldn't say all time, but definitely, well, he might be up there all time. Definitely one of my favorite luchadors, and definitely one of my.
Let's say anybody who knows anything about True Heels knows that Ness favors his luchadors. Ness favors his luchadors, and he favors his Japanese luchadors, aka Lij. Yeah. And yeah, I mean that Dragon Lee Hiromu Takahashi match still, like, how did with the neck. Ooh. But sir, no, Dragon Lee and Tony Deppen.
Yeah, man. Like you mentioned, Dragon Lee did not seem phased whatsoever at all. He's just like, who the fuck is this guy? He's just when this schmuck just won the match. All right, let me just. I just got to show up, pretty much. That's really the attitude that he had. And then with Tony Deppen, man, like, they were just telling his backstory, how he has like a newborn baby. He has his wife at home. He left his family to come and perform and just go out there he has so much motivation, for his family at home to come out there and try to go out there and get this win and want to bring the TV title back home to his family. So that was all his motivation. And then just with Dragon Lee just having the whole little smug attitude and like, who's this guy, and giving him the finger, as he didn't even adhere to the code of honor. He just gave him the finger. So that was just a little bit more fire that was lit under Tony Deppen. And then when they actually went and the match is going on, he showed he can hang with someone the likes of Dragon Lee, and that it just showed for a great match. I really enjoyed this match a lot. I want to give it a 2.5 to probably like 2 3/4 stars, only just because Tony Deppen made you believe that he could win this match. Never, like, regardless if you knew he was or he wasn't, he actually hung with Dragon Lee. And as someone that, like I said, we don't really. I haven't seen that much of Tony Deppen prior to this, but this was a great showing for him with someone like Dragon Lee. So kudos to him. I give it, like I said, I give the match probably like 2.5. I give the match 2.5. Definitely was a good match. Great showing for Tony Deppen, and I hope that he gets more spots and more opportunities in the future, because he definitely put on a performance.
They were talking about his kid, his wife, his family, and all that, and what he's working for. And I guess Dragon Lee, with all this time off, he was watching old WWE, because he definitely channeled Brock Lesnar talking to Heath Slater. He's just like, "Fuck your kids, like, I don't give a shit."
That definitely was the attitude. Dragon Lee did not give a fuck.
But guys, after this, we have like we were talking about earlier with Ray Horace and Dalton Castle, a match that was kind of thrown together last minute. We have something like that here again. We have two guys who definitely say, fuck everybody's kids, fuck everybody when it comes to anything and anybody that I don't already care about. I want them to die. And that is Jay Briscoe and Shane Taylor. Now, this was a match that we did not know we were going to get. There was really no build. And it was two guys who basically, I guess the way to describe how this match happened is one guy was walking down one hallway, one guy was walking the other hallway, and they turned the corner, they bumped into each other. And that's basically, they were like, you want to go? You want to go? All right, let's go. And the reason why it's crazy to me is because this match came so damn close to being my match of the night. Yeah. So damn close to being my match of the night. This was 13 minutes and 49 seconds of hard-hitting action. Shane Taylor is in the ring with a 11-time tag champion and a Ring of Honor world champion. This is a man who has been around the block when it comes to Ring of Honor. He is a staple of Ring of Honor. If the foundation wasn't also about following the rules and pure rules and all that kind of stuff, Jay Briscoe would be in the foundation. Jay Briscoe, Mark Briscoe would be the foundation with Gresham and Lethal. And this, I thought they told a really good story of Shane Taylor in the same vein as Ray Horace trying to overcome a former world champion. Shane Taylor trying to overcome a former world champion. And Jay Briscoe trying to show that he is still a good singles wrestler. He can still hang. He can still fight for singles gold. And this was a really hard-hitting affair. I thought it rivaled the Shane Taylor-Brody King match when it came to some of the physicality. With that, Shane Taylor and Brody King broke a barricade, so they still top it. But this really was hard-hitting. I liked this match a lot. I gave this one 2 3/4, just like almost 3 stars for me. And Shane Taylor picks up the win over Jay Briscoe. What did you think about the leader of Shane Taylor Promotions pulling out the win and getting the respect of Jay Briscoe after the match?
Man, they dubbed this match the main event that we didn't know we needed. And that's exactly what this match felt like. It was hard-hitting. Definitely the physicality was top-notch. Man, I don't know how many times Shane Taylor just socked Jay Briscoe in the face, and he just like kept coming back, and then like after a while he just stopped coming back because it was too much. It was way too much. But I give this match 3 stars. I really like the fact that Shane Taylor went over because he's just, like you said, 11-time tag champ in Jay Briscoe, multi-time world champion. He didn't really need this. And also, they can play up in the story that, in the back of his mind, he's still thinking about EC3. So that can definitely be a way that they go with the story. But, man, these guys definitely put on a clinic. It was just hard-hitting, smash mouth. I'm going to punch you in the face. You're going to punch me in the face. And we're just going to see how many times we can just get punched in the face till one of us gives up. And that's exactly what happened in this match. And kudos to Shane Taylor. Hopefully this is putting him in a position to be one of the next people, if he's not the next person in line for a shot at Rush's ROH World title. Because after this performance, I think he has to be in the number 1 contender.
After he won, he was walking back. He said, "Roosh, Brody King, I got next."
Yeah, there's no question. He was already there. Facing Brody King. Brody King went over, but like now he's still up there. He just beat Jay Briscoe. Like that's not something that any people can do lightly. That's something that I'm sure that the ROH management isn't going to take lightly. They're definitely going to put Shane Taylor in that position, and he definitely deserved it after that.
Yeah, guys, this was a really, really great match. And I'm telling you, this was almost my match of the night. There are only 2 matches left, so one of them's got to be it. And as it so happens, it just so happens to be the next one because this is an incredible, incredible match. I gave this 3.5 stars. This was 24 minutes and 37 seconds of Jonathan Gresham and Flip Gordon going at it for the Ring of Honor Pure Championship. Now, guys, last time we spoke to you, we were running down the Final Battle card, and this match popped up, and both of us said, what did Flip Gordon do to deserve this match? And I don't know what he did, but I am damn sure grateful. Whatever he did, because this was a really good match. Like I said, 3.5 stars for me. This match had everything. It had the story of Flip Gordon overusing his rope breaks. It had the story of Jonathan Gresham sticking with a game plan, coming in with a game plan, sticking to that game plan, and when he needed to, improvising and adapting to what his opponent was showing him. And when you improvise and you adapt, as the saying goes, you are able to overcome. And Jonathan Gresham continues to put the hurt, the beatdown, the pain, the suffering, or whatever words you want to use. He brings it to Flip Gordon, and the ref has to step in to save Flip from himself.
Yeah.
That shows dominance. That is the dominance of a champion. That is the dominance of the octopus. He will not stop. He will not let go. He will find a way to chop you down to size. It doesn't matter how big you are. It doesn't matter how acrobatic you are. Jonathan Gresham will find a way. And this was definitely my match of the night. I wanted to run it back and watch it again, like as soon as I finished. I didn't even want to get to the main event. I was like, let me see parts of this again, because it was a really great match. I'm hoping these 2 guys can do it again at a later date. For a Final Battle match, I thought it was really, really good. Ness, enough from me. What did you think about it?
Yeah, man, I really enjoyed this match as well. I don't want to jump the gun. It's probably my match in the night, to be honest, because from what I've seen with Flip Gordon when he was facing Josh Woods the week prior, I'm just like, all right, this is a pure rules match, but I'm not really seeing pure wrestling from him. I'm not seeing him go out there and just give me the pure wrestling feel. Like I really didn't get that from him in that match versus Josh Woods, but I definitely got that feeling from him in this match versus Jonathan Gresham. First, to start off with Jonathan Gresham, he was just so cool, calm, and collected. Like he had not the same demeanor as Dragon Lee, where he's like, this guy can't match me, but was smug about it. He was just way more confident. His confidence, and he was just so calm, and like his movements were smooth, his transitions were great. Like there was just, Jonathan Gresham was just like, you can't wrestle with me. And that's pretty much what he was doing. Like he was just using all, his submissions and just holds and just transitioning and just using all types of, movements to work on the arm of Flip Gordon, which pretty much came down to like, that was part of the reason why, the match was called off, because he was just taking off on Flip Gordon towards the end. But also in Flip Gordon's case, he was working on the knee of Jonathan Gresham, which I didn't expect him to do that, because like I said, the last time I seen him in the Pure Rules match, he didn't show me that he could adapt to the Pure Rules. But when it came the big fight field in the championship match, he definitely showed up, and it definitely came through. So these guys, I want to see more of Flip Gordon in this style of match. Hopefully it's more so this version of him, like really how he was against Jonathan Gresham. But also, at the end of the match, he didn't even want to adhere to the code of honor. So I want to see where they go with that. You know how the foundation, they're all about respect, honor, and bringing that honor back to Ring of Honor. So, clearly he didn't get that. But, we're going to see where they go. Because, like, I think it was Caprice Coleman. He was just like, oh, well, he doesn't even care about the match. It seemed like he just wanted to get a belt. And, like, that might be part of a storyline with Flip as well. So, but, yeah, man, Jonathan Gresham, he's just kudos to that, man. Just going out there, 2 matches in the same night, wins both. Literally wins both because he's the reason he rolls up PCO in the tag match to retain the tag team titles, and then he gets referee stoppage in his Pure Rules match to retain the ROH Pure Championship. So,
I completely. I was talking about the match so much, completely forgot about that. You're absolutely right. This was his second match of the night. For Jonathan Gresham, he had over 30 minutes of in-ring time, almost 40 minutes in one night. Incredible work.
In 2 different matches against 3 different people to be. It's like that's just and 2 of those 3 people were fucking psychos. So.
And in a way,
those guys, he's definitely good.
And in a way, guys, that is more difficult to do than, say, for example, a Kenny Omega Okada match that goes 45 minutes long. That is incredibly difficult in and of itself. But for Jonathan Gresham, if you're looking at what's happening to his body, his body is experiencing hits and taking hits. His adrenaline is spiking. His blood pressure is spiking. He is entering a fight or flight mode. That's just a natural reaction. Wrestlers are able to clamp down on it, and that's why they're able to execute moves properly. But still, you're seeing fists coming at your face. You have to override your brain's natural response. So he's going through all of that with PCO and Mark Briscoe, and then he's starting to come down. He's starting to come down off of that adrenaline rush, off of that high of performing as well, and his body is starting to hurt from the pains that he's actually been taking. Sometimes it takes a little while when you have an adrenaline rush for pain to really hit you. Now he's going out there and doing it all over again and for even longer. So just well done on his part. Really great job. And I kind of felt bad for Roosh and for Brody King because in my mind, I was like, how are they going to follow this? This was match of the night for me. And they did a good job. I say that they did as well the job as they could to follow what was that Pure Championship match. Roosh versus Brody King, the Ring of Honor World Championship is on the line. Big fight feel. Roosh doesn't surrender that much in height to Brody King. He definitely surrenders a lot of weight, a lot of power to Brody King. So the story here is, in a way, our champion, who is a heel champion, is at a disadvantage against a face who is just like a monster face of sorts. And Roosh has to find a way to gut out a win over Brody King. And by hook or by crook, he's got to find a way to do that. And this was well told in that sense. And what I liked about it was that Roosh, despite the size difference, was still able to look powerful against Brody King. And Brody King sold very well for Roosh. Sold, especially I forget. I think it's the move actually called El Toro Blanco. I think I'm like, or bull horns, the horns of the bull. That drop kick, he sells it very well. And Roosh, after 16 minutes 35 seconds, he is able to pull out a win. He is still our Ring of Honor World Champion. However, in true heel fashion, he doesn't do it alone. His father, let me get the exact name. La Bestia del Ring comes out to assist him. Dragon Lee is out. Everybody is out to protect Roosh and make sure that he's able to hold on to the championship while the ref is distracted. Bestia del Ring enters, hits the ring with a chair, whacks Brody King on the head. I was like, oh wow, all right, right there, all right, shit. And And I think the only thing that kind of was a drawback for me was that after the chair shot happened, Brody King took way too long to get into the corner and like fall down into the corner to set up Horns of the Bull again, that drop kick, and to that kind of pulled me out of it because I was like, why isn't Rush just like just go, like take advantage, like that's what you're supposed to see, and that part of it, that slowing down, kind of just pulled me because I was like, the ref should be able, like it's a chair shot, like you don't hear like turn, he's still in the ring, like what's going on? But either way, that's the other ring, comes out, helps his sons, and Rush is still our world champion. After the match, they are celebrating in the ring when kind of something we had a feeling was going to happen happens. And out comes the Foundation. All 4 members of the Foundation. My first thought was, okay, well, there's 3 people in La Faction, and go, Kenny King. Yeah. If Kenny King had been able to be there, because unfortunately due to COVID, he would have been there, and we would have seen a real square-off, 4 versus 4 people. But 2020 is what it is. We're not able to get that image, that shot, but we will get that sometime in 2021. Don't let 2020 continue, please. Just don't. But 2021, we will definitely see that shot. I can guarantee we will see that. That is something that Ring of Honor is building towards. They have, one side has the tag titles, one side has the pure championship, the other side has the world title, has the television championship. Could we see a winner-takes-all kind of match? Could we see something like that? I don't know. Will we see just individual matches? Maybe. Will we see Jonathan Gresham's going to have to pull double duty again at some point? This is just going to be an incredible thing that they set up. In a way, I almost felt as though the match was more just set up for the post-match, which didn't even involve Brody King. And I kind of felt bad for Brody King in that sense. But this match, the main event, I gave it 2 3/4. Ness, just give me your thoughts on the match, the post-match, what we're going to potentially see. Just what you got?
The match itself was very hard-hitting. And I like the fact that commentary was playing up on the fact that Rush hasn't been in a ring since, I believe, or been a wrestling match since like sometime in March. Yeah. But at the beginning of the match, it definitely showed, in my opinion, because Brody King, who's been active as much as possible, definitely facing the best of the best in the Ring of Honor over the past couple of weeks to get to this point, and then even in other promotions, because he was in New Japan Strong, so he's definitely showing that he's been active and he's been moving and shaking and still going hard and then just taking over this match. So it took Rush a little while to, get the ball moving and getting some offense in on his own. But then, we've seen how the match came to the finish with, his father coming out to help him, because Brody King was just too much. Like I said, he's just been so active that, and he's just not even just him being active, he's just a beast in his own right. This guy's just a monster. He's big size, he can move fast, hit you hard as hell. So I actually like the fact that it took all of that, the rest of La Faction and Governable to come out and to help Rush secure this victory. I give the match itself, I'll probably give it 3 stars. Or just 2. Actually, I'll give it 2 3/4. But then the post match, man, that's definitely going to be something to see. You have the faction that doesn't give a fuck about rules, doesn't care about tradition, none of that.
I mean, they're quite literally called the ungovernable faction.
Yeah, they don't care. They're not following any rules whatsoever.
A monkey could have thrown darts at the wall and come up with this storyline, but it works. It's just it is what is supposed to happen, and Ring of Honor is like, it just makes sense.
It does, because then here you go. You have the faction that does care about the rules, wants the honor and integrity put back into Ring of Honor, with the foundation. And the first thing that came to mind that I want to see, and I don't even know if it'll happen under that style of match in the pure form, I definitely want to see Dragon Lee versus Jonathan Gresham.
I knew you were going to say that.
Yeah,
I knew you were going to say that.
When he came out and they're just on the top of the ramp, I'm like, oh fuck yes, I need this. You know,
you're gonna try to put 3 titles on Jonathan Gresham, aren't you?
You know, I don't know if they'll actually, because I would rather have Jonathan Gresham I don't want them to unify the title or anything like that. I would rather just have Jonathan Gresham, he said, like, he'd go out there and he's like, you know what, I'm going to show you guys what honor really is. And then, like, he can just put his title on the line, or if, they do a title versus title type of thing, that it ends in a, disqualification, something like that. Just so not he has all the titles. I'm not going to be that selfish and stingy. I just want to see the matches. And it's just the matchups in themselves, like Roosh versus Jay Lethal, or Roosh versus Jonathan Gresham, or even Hot Sauce Tracy Williams versus Dragon Lee. Like, the possibilities are endless. So, and then when Kenny King comes back, just the teams is going at it themselves, man. Like, I definitely want to see where it goes. So, even though it's the whole pay-per-view was called Final Battle, we've seen more things, like more starts of stories going into 2021. So I just want to see where everything goes from here. But, like, yeah, this is definitely the feud that I'm looking forward to the most in the upcoming year. Even, like I said, even though it was Final Battle, this definitely was the start of something beautiful.
If they can find a way, if I keep wanting to say LIJ, because that's just what I associate with.
Yeah.
But if LFI can find a way to convince and coerce, just hear me out. They find a way to convince and coerce the foundation to play by their rules, and they say, winner takes all, ladder war.
That'd be nice.
That would be insane. If they find a way to, foundations, like, what do we got to do to get you in the ring? Like, like they go back and forth. Like, there's individual matches here and there. Maybe you have titles, a couple titles trade hands or whatever the case may be. But they got, like, we want to find a way to settle it once and for all. And the heels are just like, we can do this. We can find a way to accomplish this. But you got to play by our rules. We need to set the stipulation. And the faces are like, all right, fine. What do you want? And it's just ladder war. That, I think, would be incredible. 8 guys in the ring, just back and forth. That would be something that I think would get a lot of eyes on Ring of Honor. And that'll be something, just how they book it. And I think that's kind of what the story of Final Battle, this show, is. It's exactly what you said. It's not anything that's final. It's all about the future. It's all about what is going to come. What is going to happen with having tag matches under pure rules? What's going to happen with Tony Deppen and his story of how he's progressing? How are we going to see what happens with Dalton Castle? What is the impact of having Dan Hausen in Ring of Honor? Jay Briscoe, what's going to happen here with EC3? And the incredible part of it is, we're talking about the foundation. We're talking about LFI and the two of them kind of squaring off and staring each other down. And it's almost as though we forgot that Shane Taylor just beat the holy hell out of a man and said he's next. Yeah. So what is going to happen? That is something that, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to have to find out, but we will find that out together. So let's really quickly, Ness, we will break this down. MVP of the night, for me, I'm going to go with Jonathan Gresham.
There's no way it could be anybody else.
LVP of the night, I don't know who would be my LVP, because a part of me wants to say Brian Johnson, but he made Dan Hausen look really good. I don't know. You know what? I'll say that LVP. I got to do it to it. Dalton Castle. Dalton Castle. Nobody told him to get off commentary and get the match. He did that of his own free will, and then he lost So yeah, there we go. That'll be my LVP. What about you, sir?
Oh man, I'll do it anyway. Brian Johnson. I got as good as he made Dan Hausen look. He was just talking way too much shit. Just we all knew we all knew that Dan Hausen was going to win, but he was as good as he was. Just cutting those promos, just talking that shit. He took that L, so you get this L too, L of the night.
And I think we're both in agreement here for match of the night as well. Gresham versus Flip Gordon. Congratulations to both men for that. And we'll do thumbs up, thumbs down. So 3, 2, 1. Yeah, I give this one. I'll give it 6.5, maybe 6 3/4. I think this is a final battle that if it had a crowd, it would definitely push this up. That's one thing that we're definitely missing when it comes to Ring of Honor. Hopefully we'll be able to get crowds back in a Ring of Honor ring or around a Ring of Honor ring. Like, it's just one of those things that you want to, even as annoying as sometimes it can be, you want to see those streamers get thrown. They should have had somebody just there to throw a stream, something. I don't know.
That would have been the MVP or co-MVP.
But yeah, so your final thoughts on this pay-per-view, sir?
Yeah, I'd give it a 7. I think everybody went out there, performed well. Like you said, in these times, man, it's definitely harder just to deal with everything that's going on in the world. But, I got to give these guys props, and to the company as a whole, that these guys, everybody just go out there and put on a great performance and a great pay-per-view. I can't wait to see where the storylines go. Like we said, that even though it's Final Battle, it's really the beginning more so than the end. So overall, the pay-per-view was definitely enjoyable. Everyone played to their strengths and everyone went out there and put on a hell of a performance. So kudos to everyone involved in this pay-per-view. Like, it was a great show.
Yeah. And guys, thank you guys for watching. Kudos to you, our viewers, for watching Final Battle and for watching us break everything down. As always, if you agree with us, if you don't agree with us, leave those comments in the comments section. Remember to hit like, share, subscribe. Ness, tell the fine people where they can find you at.
You guys can find me on Twitter at skinny_Kravitz. You can find me on Instagram at skinny__Kravitz. And you can find me right here on the True Hill Heat YouTube channel. I am the 6th man of the True Hill Heat team, so I pop up on everybody else's shows. The Round Table Rebel, so I'm usually on most of the round tables. You can also catch me on Blunt Impact with my man Chris G. We are the Pot Hills, which leads me to the other show that I do with Chris G, Joints and Jabronis. And you catch me right here on Review of Honor with my man, StatKing, the man of 1,004 numbers.
Thank you, sir. And you guys can find me in the True Heels Facebook page, getting into arguments with you guys that I probably should not. And you can always catch me covering most of the wrestling that happens on Tuesdays with AEW Dark and the NWA UWN on Dark Power. So on behalf of myself, the StatKing, on behalf of the three-time Baby Making Champ Ness, thank you guys once again for watching. We will catch you next time, and take care of yourselves and take care of each other. Peace.